my YouTube friends. Welcome to Saturday Night Live audio special tonight. Thank you guys for joining in, man. We appreciate each and every one of you as always. Thank you guys, man. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, right down snare, rap on that baby, man, and slam that bell out of the park and get you a grand slam tonight, man. It feels so good being on here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining in and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for all your comments. Keep your comments coming in because you know what? I get back to each and every one of you as always. And a lot of you guys like to send me messages on my messenger, which is totally freaking cool. I am cool with that, man. So keep them coming in, man. So next week I wanted to tell you we've got a lot of things going on, and I'm going to be answering a lot of you guys your questions on microphones because a lot of you guys have been writing in wanting to know the best podcast microphone that's out there. And so I'm going to be doing some podcast actually I'm going to be doing a shootout between several different mics that I actually already have here. The SM57 against the Shure SM7B and a few other microphones. And we had talked about that the other night. And so you guys do not want to miss out, man. Ah, so we got some great things going on, man. And one I wanted to talk about tonight is masking. Okay. Masking, it is a real thing. And you might be thinking, what the heck is masking? I had a writer message me the other day and was just begging me to do another show on masking and get talk a little more in detail about what is masking and in your mixes and why his mixes sound really really muddy and there was no clarity in it and he had heard the term masking before but wanted to ask me if I knew anything more about it. And in response to his question, I have done videos on masking, and it is a real thing. And so, if you guys have these muddy mixes, man, that's just driving you freaking crazy, it is because all these frequencies that once we start putting in all those different instruments, man, they're overlapping one another and they're taking up the space that one instrument needs that needs that frequency to pop. You ever notice, man, you put down your first, let's just say you put down a guitar track and your guitar just sounds so great. The clarity is so nice. You can hear the low end, the mids, and the highs, and everything just shimmers just really, really, really nice. And then by the time you put the bass guitar in there, and the drums in there, and the keyboards in there, and the piano in there, and all these other instruments, your guitar, man, just gets completely lost. It sounds really thin. It's lost its definition in the mix. And you're going, man, I don't understand it, man. What is going on? It sounded good when I did the tracking, but now that I have some other tracks going on, excuse me, now that I have some other tracks going on, I can't hear my guitar anymore, man. I'm having to boost my guitar up. Things don't really sound as good as they were. It doesn't seem to have that energy in the guitar anymore, and everything is lost. And here is why, and I will say it again and reiterate this again. It is because masking is taking place and these frequencies are fighting one another as to who is going to be in the forefront and be heard. And so a lot of times what you'll do, man, is you'll start pushing up the levels and trying to get everything a good mix, a good balance with everything. And what ends up happening is you end up pushing one instrument a little too loud in the mix and you just don't want it there. But that's the only way you can hear it. So there's masking taking place. And what you really have to do is actually give each instrument its own home and own place to live in so that there's more clarity to the mix. And it a lot of times you can do this by panning. And so that's the great thing about stereo and using the stereo field. Thank you so much for having stereo. Is because we can pan things far right and far left and open up all that middle room in the middle to for other things to be heard, right? And that's the beautiful thing about mixing and mixing in stereo is that we can separate our instruments and pan things far left, far right, and then somewhere in between all that, and then all the way down to the middle. And so it's a neat thing. But here's the thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, Hang on a second, one second here before we get on with some good stuff. So you guys hang in there, man. I need to try to do something here. Hang in there with me one second. As always, always want to do is I always want to make sure my audio is being heard. But right now I'm just doing a little pasting and a little sending. Okay. Okay, there's the audio master right there. If you guys if Stephen, if you pop in, or Dennis, you pop in, or Christy, you pop in, you guys can click on that little audio master right there, and that will bring you in the show, the Saturday Night Live Audio Master Show tonight. We've been doing the midnight special show here lately, and that's been going over wonderful. Seems like I've been getting a lot of hits, and people like to stay up at midnight. Man, there's a lot of night owls out there like myself. We love that midnight hour, don't we? All you all you people that love to stay out all night, right? You night stalkers. Yeah, we're the night stalkers who love audio engineering, right? We stay in our studio and we stalk over these mixes all night long, don't we? And we love it. And that's what keeps us pumped up, man. We're like vampires in the studio. We love to stay up all night and get our mixes just right and get rid of that masking, right? Okay, hang in there, guys, with me. Just trying to make sure my audio. I've actually got to go down there. This is what happens, and it always happens. Is anytime I do make any moves on the chessboard, my computer. Anytime I make any moves, what ends up happening is for some reason my computer kicks me out of the microphone that I'm using here and wants to use the microphone off of the computer. What happens is you get all this ambient noise from the room, and it doesn't sound nearly as good, the audio, as if I'm using the Shure SM7B. So whenever I make a move on the chessboard, I always got to come back and make sure my audio is going through where it's routed through my interface, and so I have to actually keep it up on here so that I can see the levels moving, and then I know that I'm actually using this microphone. So I wanted to share with you guys tonight a little bit. I wrote all this stuff down because it's easy for me to forget as well. And I wanted to read off a few things for you guys to keep in mind whenever you're using drums and you want to make your drums sound better, or you want to clean up the mud, or you want to use things like that. So these are my notes right here that I use. And keep in mind, these are just guidelines for you guys. There's nothing in stone. There never is anything in stone because we all come up against different circumstances, different drums, different instruments that's being used, and all the other good stuff. But these are great guidelines to go by. That's going to help you out in your mixes on your drums as far as what to look for. So yeah, I typed down some stuff in here. First, let's talk about the kick drum. Right, the kick drum is a very intricate instrument, isn't it? I mean, it carries all those low frequencies that we love in our mix. But if they're too low, then it just they're too muddy, right? It's just this woofy sound that's going on. And so the kick drum, really the low is around 50 hertz to 100 hertz, and that's really what sounds good in there, anywhere from 50 to 100. And your attack's going to be anywhere from 2K to 4K. And that's where you're going to get that attack at, right? And so it's good to maybe, anything other than lower than 50 hertz, you might want to roll that off. Now, I'm talking about the kick drum here, okay, guys? You may want to put a high pass filter on that and roll that off because that's going to be a lot of whoopiness and muddiness in your mix, and you don't want that anyway, right? So that's a good little tip right there. And then your snare drum, it's important and very important frequency on your snare. That one that I'm always saying rap a dap dap on, my little icon down there. I'm always telling you hit that snare, that right snare to subscribe to the channel. But anyway, the snare drum for real guys is around 100 hertz to 220 hertz. Okay, and or that 1.4K kilohertz to 7K. And so you want to keep in mind that these frequencies are going to be frequencies that you want to be playing around with and dabbling into as to making that snare drum pop and sound really, really good. And so, it's at 100 to 220 hertz, 1 to 1.4 kilohertz or 7K. You might want to put a little bell EQ on that little frequency or whatever and pop it up, maybe a half decibel or even higher just to see what you like. Play around with those frequencies, man. It's a real thing and it'll help you out. Make that snare really, really pop and sound good and luscious and in your face, man. Because here's the thing, a lot of your songs, a lot of pop songs and whatnot, you always want either the kick or the snare or vice versa, the snare or the kick to actually be a motor as to drive and propel the song. So, yeah, listen to all those cool pop songs in the 80s, man. You can hear that snare just smashing in water going everywhere, right? So, toms, let's talk about toms a little bit. Toms are very, very important as well. Um, anywhere from 40 hertz or below, mids, 500 hertz cut for clarity. So, you maybe want to cut that to clean it out, make it so that you can actually hear it where it sounds clear and it's not woofy and too much low frequencies that's colliding with the other frequencies on the kick, right? So, toms are real important, and sometimes toms can be a hard instrument to actually sound good. And you'll see a lot of times, and a lot of engineers, they'll have actually more than one microphone on the toms. They might have some 421s on the top or whatever, but also they'll have microphones underneath the mic, underneath the toms as well. So they have a mic on the top and a mic underneath and capturing that beautiful tom sound. And so toms can be tricky if you're not using the right microphones or the right mic placement on the tom. And then two, the tuning of the toms has a lot to do with it too. So hopefully you'll have someone in the studio that really knows how to tune their drums and get the best sound out of those drums. So you're not having to fight that too, right? Um, the hi hat and the ride. You might want to put a filter from I'd say 200 hertz and below you know, on that. So anything from 200 hertz and below, you might want to put a filter on that baby, kind of clean it up because all those other frequencies, you don't need them. They don't need to be in there. And this is going to clean your drums up. This is going to make your drums sound really, really, really good as far as and that's something that you really want to clean up anyway. You want that clarity, you want the nice tone, but yet you still want it to hit you in the chest. You want all those low frequencies to hit you in the chest without all that whoopiness. And so that's why sometimes you'll also see engineers put two mics on the kick drum. They might have one closer to the beater, and then they might have one, if there's a hole in it or whatever, out kind of right in front of that. They maybe even do another mic even further back than that. I've seen three microphones on the kick before, but two, generally speaking, you can do a lot of work with just two mics on your kick. And so overheads. Let's talk about overheads a little bit. You might want to put a filter on that from 40 hertz or below, and then cut the mids depending on the style of the music. Okay. So depending on the style of the music, you maybe want to cut those mids out, but you definitely want to put a filter on anything 40 hertz and below. And this is over on your overhead microphones. This is going to really clean it up and make it sound nice and clear and crisp on your overheads. And you don't need all those lower end frequencies anyway, right? So the sooner that you can actually cut those or not have those frequencies enter into your DAW, the better it's going to actually sound overall rather than having to EQ later. So if you can nip it in the bud in the beginning, and that's why the right microphone is so imperative when you go to recording your tracks, it's having the right mic. And a lot of your great engineers have specific microphones that they like using on their drums, and there's reasons why. Okay. It's because they're tried and proven. So that's something to keep in mind. I wanted to share that with you. And then, bass. Let's talk about bass guitar a little bit. A lot of people different bass rigs, how they're set up, how they're actually, a lot of them have, bass mids and highs or whatever on there. And a lot of times your musician will actually try to get the tone or the sound that they want to off of the amplifier. And then the amplifier's mic. They might have a DI on that as well, to where, you have it going straight into the board. And then you also have it mic'd. But let's talk about that bass guitar. I'd say from 40 to 100 hertz, is your lows on that end. And this is where it kind of gets kind of confusing because the bass guitar, a lot of your bass guitar and your kick drum share a lot of those frequencies, right? And so you have to really give one or the other a lot of that room to live in and that space to live in so that you can hear the two and there isn't any colliding masking going on between the kick drum and the bass guitar. So here you have a 40 hertz to 100 hertz, and then 300 hertz and 800 hertz to 1K. Now, these are areas that you can actually bump or cut in depending on what else you have in the mix. And so just pay attention to these frequencies right here, the 300 hertz, the 800 hertz, and the 1.6K kilohertz. Pay attention to these frequencies because these are frequencies that you might want to either boost or cut, right? Depending on how many other instruments you have in there. And a lot of times your keyboards or whatever, keyboards take up a lot of room on the spectrum on the frequency, and so um, once you add your keyboards in there, or even if you add like a horn in there of some sort, a horn section or whatever, a lot of these frequencies, there's going to be a lot of masking going on. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to how many instruments are going to be in the mix, and then what instruments, whether kick, snare, bass guitar, or whatever, that's going to propel the song or drive the song as to have a little more energy in the song. And guitars, your acoustic guitars, 400, 500 hertz. These are areas that your acoustic guitars are going to lie in, and with all the energy in them. And so your acoustic guitar takes up a lot of frequency range as well. So do vocals. And so being that vocals is real important in the mix, you always want to leave room for your vocals, man. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share about masking tonight. Is it a real thing? Yes, masking is a real thing. And to clean up those mixes, actually, to where they're sounding better and tighter, you're going to want to give each instrument, like I say, its own house or home or space. I guess that's the best way to phrase that. Its own space to live in. And by doing so, it's going to clean up your mixes tremendously. And here's what's going to happen: as soon as you start working on one or two instruments and you start cleaning out that space where that instrument can actually live and breathe in that area without having to fight the guy next door to him, the clarity of that guitar track or the clarity of those keyboards or the clarity of everything is going to start sounding better, bigger, and stronger in your mix. And when your mix starts sounding really clean, to where everything just sounds really, really, really clean, and you really didn't have to do a whole bunch of work to it, other than EQ or whatever, and clean out the space that's wasted space, then you're gonna know that you're really, really getting close to home and you're in the right area with everything, and you know you're doing something really beneficial for the song, right? There's nothing worse than getting a song or listening to a mix and everything just sounds muddy and mushy and dark. It doesn't have any it doesn't have any, I don't know, nice. The tone doesn't sound good. It's either lacking something or too much of something. It might sound like it's either too bright or too dull or too low, but it doesn't have everything across the whole spectrum. It doesn't have the lows, the tight lows, it doesn't have the nice mids, and it doesn't have the shimmering highs. And so it doesn't have any of that definition or tone or sound to it. And that's when you know that your mix is bad, right? It's not a very good mix. It's dull and it doesn't sound good, right? And so whenever you get a good mix, it's going to clean up everything in the mix, and you're going to know that you're right where you need to be because all the instruments are going to sound good, be nice and punchy, and everything's going to have its place and its space to live in, and then you're going to know you're in the right, you're doing something good, right? So pay attention to this and pay attention that all your instruments do need a place to live in, or otherwise they're going to be fighting one another for that space, and then you're going to have a muddy mix. And there's nothing worse, trust me, there's nothing worse than getting at the end of your mix and going, man, the guitar was sounding really good, or man, the keyboards were sounding really good, but now that I have all these tracks in here, everything just kind of got lost, and I just feel like it sounded better when I was in the early stages of the tracking than I am now. And it's because all that masking's going on and you're losing all that definition, right? So we want to keep that in mind whenever we're mixing, and we want to keep in mind too as to what tracks we want to propel the song, and what instruments we're going to be using in the song. This is going to help you guys out a lot as far as getting a better mix, as knowing what instruments are going to be entailed, and it's going to help you prepare what microphones are going to be used, as well as other good things. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight, Saturday Night Live with Audio Master Show. As always, look, we got a lot of great things going on. So this week coming up, I wanted to do some shootouts with some microphones. One is going to be this one right here, the Shure 55. And I may put the Shure 55 up against the RE20, which is back there in the background. And I'm definitely going to be doing a shootout on the SM57. Now, I hear from Amazon that my stuff is coming in tomorrow. So it's getting here a day early. So being that it's getting here a day early, tomorrow night you guys do not want to miss out on tomorrow night, man. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be doing a show on the Shure SM57 up against the bad boy SM7B tomorrow night, and you do not want to miss out on that, man. It's gonna be totally freaking rocking. Hang on a second, one guys. 1 second, man. I'll be right back in 5. Hang on a second. Don't go nowhere. I got some good stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging in there, man. I had to go take me a little break. As always, sometimes we just have to do that, right? It feels good to be back here, man, on a Saturday night. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time on this Saturday evening, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me and just chilling out, man. As you know, we have a lot of great things going on. We got the microphone shootouts that we're doing, and just some really cool stuff. I wanted to show you. This is probably one of my favorite mics right here. It's the Electro Voice RE20. It is known in every recording studio around the world. See if I can get this a little better. There you go. And you should be able to see things a little better now. So I am actually going to do a shootout between these two right here. We have the Shure 55 and the Electro Voice RE20 microphone. Has been out for some time. The studios for in many studios, the 55 you've seen around, this old it's known as the old Elvis microphone. But I'm actually going to do a shootout with this baby right here and the Electro Voice RE20 coming up this week. You don't want to miss out, man. Who would have ever thought that this baby would be still the number one racehorse in the game since 1968? That's insane, right? And this baby don't sound too bad either. So tomorrow night, my stuff's going to be in. I'm actually going to have the windscreen for the Shure SM7B. I mean, not SM. I'm sorry, the SM57, and I am going to do the shootout between the Shure SM7B and the 57. So it's going to be interesting to see what sounds best between the two, especially with that large windscreen on this mic right here. So everybody knows what 57 is. It's in every studio and it's on every I don't know, stage in America, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how these two compare to one another. And I actually got the XY stand coming in tomorrow. They said it's coming, they said it's coming in early, man. They got me pumped up. I was like, "Are you kidding?" I knew I had one in my studio, and man, I dug through many, many boxes for that thing the other night, and I must spend 2 hours, guys, looking for that daggum thing, and I could not find it for the life of me. And I was like, "Okay, man, I've got to get online. I got to order one." But none of this stuff was supposed to come in until Monday, and so I'm getting the windscreen for this and the specially made for the 57. A lot of people don't even know they make a windscreen for the 57, but they do. And so you can sing through this baby, and it sounds good if you have a nice popper stopper on it. And so, anyway, I've got the windscreen coming for it, and I've got the shock mount coming for it. They do make a shock mount as well for this, believe it or not. Who would have thought that? And then I also have so the windscreen, the shock mount, and then the where you can do the XY. You can put two microphones, and you can actually point them like this to get that XY thing configuration going on, so that you can mic your acoustic guitar and stereo or whatever. And so anyway, it's gonna be neat to do the mic shootout with these two up here, and I'll be a and back and forth for you guys. Check it out, man. And I want you guys to let me know what microphone you think sounds best. Because here's the thing, I want to be able to change out this baby from time to time and try to do some other podcasts and do some other videos with some of these other microphones. So it's going to be nice to hear what you guys think as to what microphone you guys like, the way it sounds. Now, I mean, I hear what's going on here in my headphones, and it sounds pretty decent on my end. But it isn't until after the fact that I actually, when I'm doing my tags and all the other good stuff on the video, that I actually hear what this microphone is doing. And I generally try to keep the settings the same. But whenever I'm swapping out microphones and things like that during the day and doing some tracking and stuff, you know how it is, man. You kind of got to watch levels and EQ and everything else, or it changes from day to day. So it's gonna be neat to hear what you guys think as to what microphone you guys like. So I hope you didn't miss out on all that good stuff about the masking. If you did miss out on the video, I was talking about masking earlier. That's what the title of this show was about tonight. Was about masking. I had a writer write in and was, really having some problems in their mix, man. A lot of it has to do with, masking, and it's where frequencies actually overlap and overlap each other enough to where they're fighting. Each instrument is fighting for space, and it creates a muddy mix. And the clarity's gone. You don't hear the clarity. You don't hear the hitting, and all that other stuff. And it's because your mix has become so overwhelmed with so many instruments. There's no space, and everything's just overlapping one another, right? And I know I've gotten to many of my mixes in the past where I started out with just acoustic guitar and maybe a click track and a scratch vocal track, and it sounded really, really good. It was like, oh man, the voice sounds really good. The acoustic guitar really shines. I can hear the nice high end. I can hear the energy and the 400, 500 hertz really well. And the low end don't sound bad. I kind of actually like hearing the low end and the acoustic guitar going on. It kind of sounds, it's not too muddy, but it has that low end, and everything just sounded really nice across the spectrum, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, let's start adding some tracks. Let's add a keyboard track or some piano to it, or let's add other instruments. And then after I get three or four instruments down, along with the acoustic guitar, all of a sudden, man, it just doesn't sound the same. It's what I wanted in the mix, all these other instruments to actually build the mix and make it sound bigger. But as you get going, masking starts to take place, man. And if you're not careful and you don't know what instruments take up what space, then you can run into a lot of problems. And so just remember that, guys. Pay attention to what instruments you're using, and how they affect the other instruments. And it's going to help you out long ways in the future as to building your mix and knowing what instruments you want to actually use in your mix, right? So keep that in mind. That will help you out tremendously. But I don't know what it is about this thing here, man. It wants to continue to uh, pop me out and pull me out from time to time on this thing. So I have to really pay attention to my levels here, man. If I don't, uh, it can send me somewhere where I don't want to be. And so I just want to make sure that at all times I'm using the microphone that's in front of me. But yeah, thank you guys for joining in. We got our Audio Master t-shirts that are doing good. We've been giving a lot of them out and actually selling quite a few of them as well. And so they've just been doing great. If you guys want an Audio Master t-shirt, just private message me, and let's see if we can't get one of these babies out to your door. I only have larges right now, but the larges are real stretchy, and the material is super, super soft. And I've already sold my mediums and given all my mediums out. And generally that's what you want, mediums and larges. I did get a few extra larges for those of you who are really, really big guys. But as you can see, these, I'm not a big guy, but they're real stretchy. The material's real stretchy, and so you can pull them and they come back, and but they're super, super soft and comfortable. So if you guys want an Audio Master T-shirt, message me, private message me, and we can see if we can't get you one at what they cost me, right? The last batch I had, which were the black and white ones, I ended up giving all those away to my subscribers who were wanting them. And they've been with me a long time, and it was something I felt like I wanted to do, right? It was hook them up, get them hooked up. But so other than the t-shirts, we've got a lot of great things going on. And one, like I said, is the microphone shootouts that we're going to be doing next week. Bang bang. We're gonna we're gonna actually see what mics sound best. I can't wait to do that, man. I really can't wait to get that going on. And then also I have my book coming out, so I am going to be really busy with that too, and dealing with the publisher and making sure everything's proofed right and all that other good stuff. Man, there's so much that goes into having a book out these days, and you just want to be real careful and make sure that all the grammars right. And trust me, I am not the best writer. I mean, I have ideas and how I want to structure things, but my grammar is really, really bad. And so I need someone to help me on that. And luckily, I have someone who's doing that for me. And that's what they do. These people, they do a lot of proofreading and they make sure all the grammar and the commas and the periods and all that good stuff that, I really don't care about, man. So anyway, it's gonna be nice having the book come out, and I will let you guys know on the show when that's available, so you guys can help support the channel and help support the Audio Master channel here. But as always, man, I appreciate all you guys joining in on a Saturday night and hanging out with me, man, because we got some cool stuff going on. And I don't really know how to reiterate how much next week, how much fun we're going to have, man. And I also did want to say this. Look, if you haven't joined the Audio Master Facebook group, do so, man, because it's a really cool thing. And a lot of people are joining, and a lot of engineers are joining that and sharing their information, uh, to the group and sharing what they're doing in the studio. And so we've got some people that I am going to be doing some interviews on as well. But I haven't reached out to them. They said they did want to do an interview with me, but I haven't reached out to them because next week, all of next week, I'm just going to be answering you guys' questions because my phone has just been blowing up on my messenger. And so next week, I am going to be answering all you guys' questions. And a few of you wrote in on the same thing, the same topic about wanting to start your own podcast, wanting to start your own YouTube channel, but didn't know what kind of microphone that you wanted to put in there. And look, guys, I've got the two best, okay, right here, and that is the Shure SM7B and the Electro Voice RE20. Those are the two best microphones for podcasts and for radio announcing and all that other good stuff. But here's the thing. This one's 350. The other one's 400. The RE20 is 450. But this Shure 57 right here is a $99 microphone. Okay. This is $100 microphone. And so that's why tomorrow night I want to do the shootout between this mic and the $350 mic and let you guys decide where you want to spend your money. And so it's nice that I'm able to do this for you guys. So that way you'll be able on that end, you'll be able to hear the audio and you make your own decision as to you want a $350 mic or you want a $100 mic. Maybe save you some money, right? Because you can certainly put that other money into something else in your studio. I know that. Oh, and I did want to say this, man. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Mother's Day, but Monday, I'm getting on. I'm getting online. This is going to be my next little toy, man, and I'm gonna do an unboxing on the Korg synthesizer. They've got this Korg synthesizer that I want to get. I'm gonna do an unboxing on it, and I'm also gonna start doing creating some great music with it. So I've been wanting to actually do another project, another album, but I've been trying to be on here with you guys and answer your questions on YouTube and whatnot. So my schedule's just really been overwhelming for me. But in my mind, man, I've got music going on daily in my head. And so I want to track some songs into an album or at least a couple of singles, right? On this keyboard using this Korg keyboard. It's just a bad to the bone keyboard. It's got all those synth sounds from the 70s, and a lot of those sounds you and I heard them on the Welcome to the Machine, and all those tunes by Pink Floyd. And back in the day in the 70s, some of those really, really cool far out stuff, man. So I want to do some like EDM stuff with techno, kind of that era back in the 80s when you had Depeche Mode and all those guys and all that cool music like that going on. So I really want to produce some music like that, man. So I'm kind of really stoked about doing that. And here's the cool thing, y'all, is as I'm doing these songs and whatever, I'm gonna be able to share them with y'all, man. I'm gonna be able to share this music with y'all and get some feedback, man, as to what you think, man. So it's just a fun thing being in the studio. And I try to encourage all of you, if you have a studio or you want a studio, you're building a studio, you know, pop on here and ask me anything you want to know about equipment, whatever. Because trust me, before I buy, I do tons of research on all my stuff that I get and make sure that if I don't already know about it in the studio, because here's the thing about new things, they're constantly coming up with new things for your studio and recording gear for you guys to, continue to spend your money for new things that's coming out, right? And so I like the tried and true stuff. That's why the microphones you see in my studio are tried and true, and they're in every studio worldwide from time and time and time again. But you got all this new stuff coming up. Everything from plugins to new keyboards, new synths, and all this other stuff. So anyway, this Korg piece is supposed to be a really, really nice piece, and the sounds are supposed to be phenomenal. And I actually went online and was listening to some samples of some what other people and reviews were doing on this Korg machine synthesizer. And oh my gosh, I got to get it in here. And this is going to be what I'm going to be working solely off of as far as my next project, how it's going to go and how it's going to roll, man. So I'm stoked about it, man. And I can't wait to get started and start writing. I probably won't write the music to it. I mean, the lyrics to the songs or any songs until after the music is already laid down for me. And so that's probably going to be the easiest way for me to write to this music is wait till it's pretty much halfway finished or almost complete, and before my mind starts to want to put the pencil to the paper and start writing and getting creative as to how I want to phrase, how I want to sing the song and stuff like that. So it's gonna be nice to be able to get in the studio and rock and roll in here, man. And so if you guys haven't been in your studio rocking and rolling lately, man, I highly encourage you to crank everything up, man, and get back in your studio and start recording and sharing what you're doing with the Facebook group that we have going on. And that is the Audio Master group. If you don't know how to do it, you go to your Facebook, and a lot of people are writing in they don't know how to do it, or they say they tried and couldn't do it. But it's easy, man. You get on Facebook, and over to the left there's a group section. It says groups, and you got to click on that groups section, and then in that groups there's a search bar area, and then you type in Audio Master, and if it doesn't pull you into the channel and subscribe you, it'll let me know by notification that you're trying to get on, and then I'll pull you in, man. So it's easy as that. So it's a place where you can be able to place your music as well, and let these other engineers and whatnot hear your stuff, and promoters and all the other stuff hear your music, and maybe y'all can hook up, whatever. And so that's the cool thing about the Facebook group, because we got people from all levels, from down here in the middle of the road and up here joining, and it's just a great thing having all you guys being a part of the Audio Master channel, to where we can create this beautiful hub where we can all hear and see what's going on in the channel. And so anyway, that's a great thing going on, and I love it, man. I'm glad you guys have been participating. I wish you guys would participate a little more on over here to the right on the channel in real time, because when you put your comments over here on the page, other people see it too, and it encourages them to write in and ask questions too. And so, if you haven't been writing in and you've been just, hitting me up on my messenger, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind that. But here's the thing: if you message me here, I can get back with you anytime during the day. But if you message me here, it encourages other people to participate and join in for the ride, man. And that's always cool whenever you have other people joining in and put in their 2 cents of what they're using, what kind of studio equipment they're using. The other night I was asking, because I want to do this EDM type project with this Korg, and I did a shout out to everybody. If there's any of you guys that's ever put together EDM music, let me know what kind of strings you're using. Let me know how your approach to actually starting the mix, whether you start the mix with drums, or how you go about it, how you like to do it. Because here's the thing, man. Everybody has their own techniques as to how the approach they like to approach a mix or approach a song, right? And so, anyway, I did a little shout out to you guys and was wanting your guys' feedback as to what your thoughts are and what kind of keyboards are you using and synthesizer. And once you get everything in your DAW, do you use a lot of MIDI and whatnot? So anyway, that's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. And I'm definitely gonna keep my ear open for some of you guys to join in and give me your 2 cents on that stuff, man. Can't wait, man, because it's gonna be rocking and rolling. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff with um with the strings and this Korg synthesizer, man. Cannot wait, cannot wait, cannot wait. But as always, we appreciate each and every one of you on the Audio Master channel because we got a lot of great things going on here, and you guys do not want to miss out. No, man, we got it going on, and we just we love it here, man, and we love that you guys have been participating as much as you have, man. We really, really dig it, man, and we encourage each and every one of you. If you haven't been recording in your studio and you haven't been playing music like you should, and like we all should, we need to be in our studio and doing what we love here. Every time I go in the gym, I run into somebody and we're talking about this and that. We're talking about what guys talk about, making money and all the good stuff. And then I always turn to them and say to them, "Hey, man, I want to encourage you. Like, what gets you freaking pumped up, man? What gets you excited?" A lot of times they just look at me like, "What the heck you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, dude, what gets you excited about your day, man? When you wake up in the morning, what gets you so freaking pumped up you want to start your day doing it, man?" And I've been just asking everybody this, man, and you'd be surprised of the answers that I'm getting from different people. And and I encourage all of you, look, man, if you're not living your dream now, now's the time, man. Because if you're not living out your dream right now, you need to be, okay? Because the money is going to come. The money's going to come once you start living out your dream and you start putting all that energy in the fun that you're having in life in your dream. It may be skydiving for you, man. I don't know. Everybody's got their own things that they want to do in life or enjoy. I was talking to another guy the other day at the salon, and he owns several salons, and we were talking about investments and all kind of stuff like that. And I was asking him, I said, "So, man, what you been doing? It's been forever since I've seen you." And I know this guy likes to ride bikes. He likes to go to all these different places around the country and do mountain bike riding. It's a big thing for a lot of people. They love riding and whatever. And he was telling me, he said, "Man, I hurt my back and I jacked up my back and I'm kind of messed up, but I'm doing my therapy now and I am getting better." And but he said, "Man, I tell you what, when I get on my bike and I'm riding and whatnot, I feel like a kid again. I really feel like a kid again." And I'm thinking to myself, "Well, dude, that's what you need to be doing. You need to be doing everything you can to get that back well and so that you're fully fit again and do whatever it takes so that you can be living your dream, man." And the guy's got tons of money. I mean, he's got more money than he knows to do with. So it's not a money issue for him. It's about his health right now so that he can do his live out his dream. And here's the thing. I wanted to say this to you guys because most people, we were told since we were a kid, oh, the American dream. The American dream is work your 9 to 5 job and then, keep putting money back, invest, and all this other stuff. And then when you're 65, you can retire and you can start doing the things that you need to do at that age, right? Well, here's the thing. Most of us, most Americans anyway, let themselves go because they do the 9 to 5 job. They either have kids or whatever that's grown by then. And by the time they're 65, they're sick. They're either sick with cancer or heart disease or something, and they don't get to live out their dream, man. They said, "One day I'm going to do it." Well, one day I'm going to do it. And they never got to do it, man. And so it's sad. It really, really is sad. So that's why I want to encourage you, man. Whatever you love right now, whatever gets you freaking pumped up right now, just do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Do it at your best. Do it every day. For me, it's getting in my studio. It's writing music. It's turning on these preamps and smelling the the smell of new equipment turning on in my studio and it warming up in here, man. Me getting behind after I write, get a song down, me just writing a song and just, getting in front of a beautiful microphone and just ripping it out and singing, belting out the chorus sections and trying to just, eat the microphone and get real close and doing some cool stuff, some intimate stuff. So whatever your love is, guys, whatever your love is, do it, man, because tomorrow night might not be here for you to do it and enjoy it. So we got to keep that in mind whenever we're doing, whenever we're living out and doing what we do on a daily basis, is to not get caught up on that wheel to where we forget who we are and we set aside everything our goals for other people's goals and we start living vicariously through other people as well. And we want to be real careful about that, not to do that, because we can all be victims of doing that, right? And so, but if we're doing our own thing, uh, and we're happy with it, and we're happy with our accomplishments, and we're living out our dream, then we're going to be okay, man. At the end of the day, we can hang our hat and say, well, I did everything I set out to do, and I never gave up. I gave it my best shot, and things are good, man. And so, thank you guys so much. As always, joining the Audio Master Show. We appreciate each and every one of you because all of you are important on the Audio Master Show. And without you guys, it wouldn't be possible to be here and share, our different thoughts and different dreams and whatnot with one another and keeping it real, right? So we love to keep it real here at the Audio Master Show. Saturday Night Live with you guys. So we got some cool things. Hang on a second. I want to do something real quick, guys. Hang in there. I was making sure I had set something behind here. I wanted to make sure it was still there, man. And it is still there. So yeah, man. You don't want to miss out on tomorrow night. We're gonna do the mic shootout tomorrow night, and then next week I'm gonna be answering people's questions as to what microphones I think are great microphones for do your podcast, to do your videos with, to get up and going and smoking on your YouTube channel, man. And as always, if I can get Steven in here and Dennis in here and Rick in here and Tony in here and just different people. We're going to do these interviews, man, because everybody's been waiting for you guys, and we don't want to keep too many people on hold too long, man. So we need to do these interviews and knock these babies out the park. If you have not joined the Audio Master Show, you need to do so now, man. And also remember, stand up there and knock that bell out the park, man, and get you a grand slam because this is the place to be on the Audio Master channel. We love it here on the Audio Master channel, and so do many. And so subscribe. It should be a little bitty black icon right down there somewhere. I don't see it on the screen here. Maybe it's because we're doing this live, man. But if you look right there in that corner, right, I wish I could poke it. If I could poke it, it's right there. It's right snare. Anyway, hover your mouse over there, and all of a sudden, the big subscribe button will pop up on the screen. Click on that, baby, and it'll pull you in, man. It's easy as that. Thank you guys for joining in, and we will see you tomorrow.